welcome to our fourth week with the lights on. Hell yeah, hell yeah.
It's been a real to be able to be here for the last month with you guys, and I'm very excited for the show tonight. However, you remember when your teacher partied on like Thursday night, and on Friday they just put on a movie while they dealt with their hangover? Well, I got a real headache right now, so let's just get right into it. Roll film.
Former President Donald Trump has been involved in numerous controversies throughout his public career, both before and during his time in office. Here is a list of some of the major controversies. Pre-presidency 1. Central Park 5. In 1989, Trump called for the death penalty for 5 Black and Latino teenagers accused of assaulting a jogger in Central Park. They were later exonerated, but Trump has never apologized. 2. Housing discrimination. In the 1970s, Trump's company was sued by the federal government for refusing to rent to Black tenants. 3. Trump University. Accused of fraudulent practices, Trump University faced multiple lawsuits. In 2016, Trump settled for $25 million without admitting wrongdoing. 4. Bankruptcies. Several of Trump's companies, particularly in the casino industry, declared bankruptcy, raising questions about his business acumen. 5. Birtherism. Trump promoted the false conspiracy theory that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States. 6. Sexual misconduct allegations. Over 24 women have accused Trump of sexual misconduct, which he has consistently denied. 7. Access Hollywood tape. In 2016, a 2005 recording surfaced in which Trump made lewd comments about women. He apologized but dismissed the comments as locker room talk. Campaign and election-related controversies. 8. Trump's tax returns. Trump broke with tradition by refusing to release his tax returns, leading to speculation about his finances. 9. Russian interference in 2016 election. There was extensive investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election and potential collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia, though the Mueller report did not establish a criminal conspiracy. 10. Muslim ban. As a candidate, Trump proposed banning all Muslims from entering the U.S., which morphed into an executive order during his presidency that banned travel from several predominantly Muslim countries. 11. Charlottesville remarks. After the 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Trump was criticized for saying there were very fine people on both sides. Presidential actions. 12. Ukraine impeachment. Trump was impeached in 2019 for pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. He was acquitted in the Senate. 13. Family separation policy. The Trump administration's policy of separating children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border sparked widespread outrage. 14. COVID-19 response. Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, including downplaying the virus and promoting unproven treatments, was heavily criticized. 15. Both sides and white supremacy remarks. Trump faced backlash for his comments on race, particularly after the Charlottesville rally, as well as his reluctance to condemn white supremacist groups on multiple occasions. 16. Election fraud claims. After losing the 2020 election, Trump falsely claimed widespread voter fraud and refused to concede, culminating in the January 6th Capitol riot. 70. Capitol insurrection. Trump's role in the January 6th attack led to his second impeachment for incitement of insurrection, although he was again acquitted in the Senate. Post-presidency 18. Classified documents. Trump was investigated for taking classified documents to Mar-a-Lago after leaving office. This led to an FBI search of his property in 2022. 19. 2020 election investigation. Several ongoing investigations into Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election results, including in Georgia and the federal investigation led by special counsel Jack Smith. 20. Civil cases. In 2023, Trump was found liable for defamation and sexual abuse in a civil case brought by E. Jean Carroll, related to an incident in the 1990s. This list covers a broad spectrum of controversies, but it is by no means exhaustive. Trump has been a highly polarizing figure, and his actions have often been subject to significant legal, political, and public scrutiny. Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, has had a long career as a prosecutor, California Attorney General, U.S. Senator, and now as Vice President. While she has generally been less controversial compared to some other figures in American politics, she has faced several criticisms and controversies throughout her career. Here are some of the major ones. Attorney General and District Attorney. Tenure. 1. Tough on crime policies. As San Francisco District Attorney 2004 to 2011, and later as California Attorney General 2011-2017, Harris faced criticism from progressives for adopting tough-on-crime policies, such as supporting anti-truancy laws that threaten parents of truant children with prosecution. 2. Opposition to DNA testing in death penalty cases. In 2004, Harris refused to support DNA testing that could have exonerated death row inmate Kevin Cooper, a decision that came under heavy scrutiny later. She eventually supported a new investigation into the case in 2018. 3. Death penalty stance. While Harris personally opposes the death penalty, she enforced it as Attorney General, which led to criticism from both sides of the political spectrum. Her decision not to pursue the death penalty in the case of a police officer's killer in 2004 was especially contentious. 4. Prison labor. Harris's office was criticized for defending the use of prison labor and for opposing early release of prisoners in certain cases, despite overcrowding in California's prisons. 5. Prosecutorial record on marijuana. As Attorney General, Harris opposed the legalization of marijuana in 2010, which led to accusations of hypocrisy after she later voiced support for legalization during her 2020 presidential campaign. Political campaigns and positions. 6. Flipping on Medicare for all. During her 2020 presidential campaign, Harris supported Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All plan, but later seemed to waver, backing away from the plan and instead supporting a less sweeping reform. This shift was seen by some as pandering and indecisive. 7. 2020 presidential campaign exit. Harris's early exit from the 2020 Democratic primary due to poor polling and campaign infighting drew criticism. Some pointed to poor campaign management and a lack of clear messaging as reasons for her downfall. 8. Law enforcement ties. Harris's background as a prosecutor was viewed by some progressives as a liability during the 2020 campaign, especially in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement. Her past record as a prosecutor came under attack from criminal justice reform advocates who felt she had not done enough to address systemic issues. 9. Support for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. As a senator, Harris faced criticism for her past support of the TPP, a controversial trade agreement. Although she later shifted her stance to oppose it, some on the left viewed her position as inconsistent. Vice Presidency 10. Handling of immigration and border crisis. As Vice President, Harris was tasked with addressing the root causes of migration from Central America. Critics on both the right and left have argued that her approach to addressing the border crisis has been slow or ineffective, particularly with the surge in migrant crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border. 11. Comments on visiting the border. In 2021, Harris faced criticism for not visiting the U.S.-Mexico border earlier, despite being assigned to lead diplomatic efforts on migration. Her remark, "I haven't been to Europe either," when questioned about her lack of a border visit, was widely criticized as tone-deaf. 12. Handling of staff turnover. Harris has faced reports of high staff turnover and claims of a difficult work environment in her office, with staffers allegedly complaining about dysfunctional leadership and poor management. Number 13. Debate performance as vice presidential nominee. During the 2020 vice presidential debate against Mike Pence, Harris's performance was criticized by some as lacking substance and as too focused on rhetoric rather than policy specifics, though she still received praise for her poise and composure. Miscellaneous 14. Criticism from the left. Some progressives have criticized Harris for being too centrist or for not taking strong enough stances on issues such as climate change, healthcare reform, and criminal justice. 15. Criticism from the right. Harris has been a frequent target of right-wing media and politicians, particularly for her progressive stances on social justice, climate, and immigration. Her role as the first Black and South Asian female vice president has also made her a subject of racist and sexist attacks. While Kamala Harris has faced criticism, many of her controversies stem from the tension between her record as a prosecutor and her current political positions, especially as they relate to criminal justice reform. Like most high-profile politicians, she has become a lightning rod for partisan criticism.